Game over. User wins.
Alphanumeric! Reboot!
Break action.
I've always wanted to do that.
Well, low me down.
I don't think so.
Glitch. BS&P.
Are we still? Is this still happening?
Why'd you do it?
Good evening. Welcome back to Alphanumeric, the weekly Lasercomb podcast where we talk about Reboot and all things related to it. I'm one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
I'm another host, NeoCal.
I am another host, AP Snidler.
And I'm your other host, Lady Glitch.
This week on Alphanumeric, we're done talking about season 3 of Reboot. Longest fucking season in the entire series. So we thought this was a good time to do another season wrap-up. And we're also going to be dedicating a good chunk of this show to answering your questions that you submitted to us on Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, and even email.
Thank you, by the way, for your participation.
Yes, thank you. There might be a little something in it for all of you at the end of this. So
Hold up.
Indeed.
You got an email?
I do have an email. Yeah,
Well, I mean, sorry, I meant you received an email.
I did.
Asking-
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh.
well, look at us. Look at us, fancy
Literally the second email I've received relating to this show. I've gotten quite a few emails now relating to Too Much Energy on mine and Cal's Beast Wars podcast, but
Our first one was the best.
our first one was the best indeed. I have all of these like screenshotted on my phone, so I apologize. I'm going to be looking down at my phone a lot to read these out. So
Fair.
it's not so apologies to my co-hosts and to anyone watching this. I'm not looking at my phone for nefarious purposes.
He's doing
during this
legitimate
recording.
journalism, folks.
Doing legitimate journalism. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
What question are we going to start with here?
That one.
Let's start with something dumb. Reboot Talk at Reboot Cartoon on Twitter says, if you were a giant-sized puzzle, what would your picture be?
What the?
Like I said, we're starting with a dumb one.
If we were a giant-sized puzzle, why does the size of the puzzle matter? Do they
Because
mean
everything
size
Reboot
is
Talk
very
said
big or
so.
number of pieces?
because everything is bigger in Texas.
Yes.
Do they mean the number of pieces?
You're like, yeah,
or do they
you're
mean
right.
like actual like size?
Actual size. Let's go with that.
I'd go with like a big 4x8
Why not?
on the
Why not
wall.
both? Why not both? A big puzzle with a shit ton of pieces.
4,000 piece puzzle that goes on the wall. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
so what would the picture be? Let's start with Lady Glitch.
See, I think mine would end up being in a coffee shop, and it's just latte art in coffee mugs.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. You get a very warm vibe from it. And then have like books and candles and stuff, so it's kind of like dark academia themed.
Are you sure you're not from the West Coast? Because that's the most hip
That's
thing
like
I've
the
ever heard you
most
say.
West Coast thing I've ever heard.
I am
Yeah,
not. I am from the East Coast.
Yes.
Well, you would love Oregon or Seattle or BC.
Well, my dad grew up in Puget Sound, so I kind of have a little bit of Western in me.
There you go.
There it is. There it is.
There
right
it
there,
is.
folks.
Busted.
We're doing some legitimate journalism here.
Yes, we are.
Oregon, we're
cracking
getting
the
you
case.
the answers. Getting you the A's for your Q's.
See, that sounds like a puzzle I'd like doing, and now I feel bad about my answer.
Oh no.
Because
Well,
mine
Neo-
would be
NeoCal, you have an answer. So what would your
mine
your
would
puzzle
be a 3 foot wide, 6 foot tall of Nullzilla. And do you know how hard it would be
In that
finding those
pose?
pieces?
in like a Running Man pose?
Pieces? Yeah, doing like a weird pose. Do you know how hard it would be finding all the pieces of the multicolored nulls that like make up the body? Be nightmarish.
It'd be a fool's errand.
It'd be like trying to find.
So that's what I would
nibbles in
inflict. That's what I would inflict upon the puzzle participant.
It'd be like
Nullzilla.
finding a null in a stack of nulls.
Like finding a certain colored null in a stack. Maybe hack and slasher on the side, pointing. There he is.
That's not him. Snidler, what would your puzzle picture be?
Oh my gosh. My puzzle, I would, I would proudly have up on my wall. I would, finish it with like shellac and glue and stuff, hang it up. But it would probably have to be a nude portrait of Mouse descending a staircase.
Is it sensibly nude, like almost nude, like she's turning and covering?
She'd be, yeah, kind of
Like she's being drawn like one of Leo's French models.
Yeah. But she'd have her sword, and she'd be kind of
So nothing but boots and the sword.
sure,
I can get behind that.
and whatever's in her hair.
I bet Snidler could get behind that too.
I could get behind that. Yep. Speaking of, this is a mouse-colored drink here, so I'm gonna drink some.
I approve. It's purple.
Yes.
It looks black in this light.
Purple. I'll bring a purple
Yeah.
Yeti. in.
It looks like you're drinking black
Ooh.
sludge on my.
Yeah, that's what it looks like on my end as
damn.
well.
Because I was going to say black
Mouse tastes good.
Powerade. Holy
Oh,
cow! Where did you get that?
I have something purple too.
Hey!
Yay!
Behold, Galvatron.
Oh, you guys are repping my favorite color. I'm so proud of you.
It is you.
It is me.
Yes.
I have nothing purple. I have a lot of blue going on here.
Well, blue's
That's
next
a
to
lot of
purple.
blue.
There
I'm
you
all
go.
gray.
Christopher Siege.
What's your
Please,
puzzle?
giant puzzle.
My giant puzzle would be a big ass like wall scroll type thing. It would be a picture of me wearing all black and a leather jacket with some kind of like hype, like mechanical, like arm thing, like doing a fist, and with like a really like intimidating facial expression and some like Blade Runner type shit in the background.
Awesome.
Nice.
So,
Awesome.
so any picture in the early 2000s of Christopher Siege.
Basically. Lady Glitch, moving on to the next question. You said you had a couple queued up.
Yes, I do. Actually, sticking with reboot talk, he also asked us another question.
Oh,
Truth
boy.
or dare?
truth or dare.
Okay.
Okay.
Truth or dare? That's not how the.
Snidler, do you remember this exchange? It was a few weeks ago, so.
It was a while back, yeah.
Enlighten
I don't
us.
remember what I said.
No,
Truth
you
or
said
dare.
Gentle, so that's all
Gentle.
that. Yeah.
He just said truth or dare.
Oh
Yeah.
no. I think I said dare, and then I said be gentle.
Well,
So-
what did he dare you to do then?
I have no idea. I have
I
no
think
idea.
that's-
I never heard back. Maybe he was scared. Maybe he was intimidated by my.
That's not
By
really
me.
how this game works.
I don't know. He's supposed to give me a dare. I didn't do a dare. I didn't get a dare. Oh, well.
Okay, well,
He dared
on-
to kill a king's dare.
in
Reboot
the-
Talk, if you're listening, the answer is dare. I'll be waiting to hear from you.
there you go. That's the
Okay.
question. Christopher
Yes.
Siege, truth or dare?
Truth.
Lady Glitch, truth or dare?
Truth.
NeoCal, I choose dare. So there you go.
Yeah.
A split
Dare,
answer, ladies
dare.
and gentlemen.
Yes.
Two of us chose dare, and
Truth.
two of us chose truth.
Okay, so Reboot Talk, reach out to us on social media and ask us some truths and
And
dish
dares.
out some dares. You're not here with us, so we can't really play this game on the show.
Well, they
It
could
is
ask
technically
anything,
a question.
and that's what they.
Technically- Yeah.
Fair enough.
Snidler or Siege.
Queuing up another question.
I've
here.
got. Oh, sorry.
Oh, have you got one?
I've got a question here from Jeff E. Spokes Gaming
Okay,
on
cool.
Twitter. What is your favorite game from Reboot or favorite user in parentheses? I have. Oh, there's a couple of questions on here. Sorry.
Okay, let's start with the first one.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
first one: what is your favorite game or favorite user?
Okay.
Who wants to go
First
first with this
stage?
one?
My favorite game is Evil Doom from the first episode of season 3. Easily.
Okay.
Got
Oh,
Ash in it, running around
Malicious
saying
Corpses.
groovy. Yeah, Malicious
Malicious Corpses.
Evil
yeah,
Doom.
That was a great one.
Wait,
Malicious corpses.
That's a huge favorite of mine as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. I love Evil Dead and I love Doom growing
Yep.
up, and it's a mix of those two things. And Enzo being a little like Michael Jackson zombie, and Dot being Elvira, like it's
Oh,
great.
That was great.
Mhm. Cal, what's yours?
See, I want to say something else, but Dot with heavy mascara and fishnets really.
It's,
That's not part of the
we're
game.
really
Those are the
trying to-
sprites. Those are the
Yeah.
sprites, okay? So my favorite game on the show,
Mm,
no, probably not in real life, was the underwater one where they were like shark people,
that was sweet.
Oh
where
yeah.
Andrea is introduced.
that's a good choice.
Andrea.
I really like the color palette and the aesthetics of that
Yeah.
game.
And despite it being a water level, terrible in video games, I hate water levels. The flow of the plot for that amped up well, and it introduced Andrea really well. And so because that episode was so good, I feel like I really like the game. But if you dissect the game, it's just the user being a shark moving from point A to B.
Yeah.
So the Mortal Kombat one, what was that called?
Immortal
Mm.
Conflict.
Immortal Conflict, right? That one looks the coolest, but my
Mhm.
favorite episode of a game is the Sharky Andrea episode.
Nice.
Cool. Lady Glitch.
I'll go with the Wizards Warriors. So the D&D type thing in season 1.
Oh yeah.
Wizards,
Wizards,
Warriors, and a word from our
Our
sponsor.
sponsor.
Yep.
Hey, it's slices, dices, cuts, copies, pastes. Yeah.
I liked the transition screens in that episode, the like dual fists with the dun 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 music.
So good.
Like if I was ever trapped in that game, I would like the 3 of you to be along with it because it would just be that much more fun.
Well, there you
That
go.
would be a fun like little RPG thing.
Yeah. Like in the
That would
same-
probably be the
Yeah.
funnest for us 4 to go into.
Yes.
That'd be sweet.
I think whenever I come to visit Victoria, which hopefully is soon, we need to find an escape room for the 4 of us to do.
That would be pretty awesome.
There's a bunch of them downtown.
I can
Yeah.
hold my ADD enough to there's bad and good, right?
Okay.
Like sometimes I'll just like walk over and like fiddle with something and open it and like skip 20 minutes, and then other times I'll be like looking at something and I'll be like, oh, what's 8 plus 12? So I have strengths and weaknesses, and I think it would round out well with you 3 in an
Yeah.
escape room.
Okay.
I am pretty good at problem solving.
Plenty.
Yes.
Midler.
Hmm. Oh, what's my favorite?
game?
Oh, geez.
Snidler,
One-
the man who read the question.
Who man who read the question? I am a huge fan of Malicious Corpses because I just love Evil Dead and I love the Bruce Campbell groovy character.
Kirby man.
What else? There was another one that sticks out for me is Starship Alcatraz, and I know it was like kind of
Banana.
I don't know. It was like there was a lot of running and jumping and figuring stuff out and
This is a-
shooting things with big guns and stuff. And that was like one that stuck out to me as a kid.
Yeah, that's my
So-
number 2 favorite.
Yeah.
I
Just
forgot
watching
about the Mad Max one.
and Bad Bob.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah.
The next part of Jeff E's question, and all of us can answer, but this is definitely aimed specifically at me and Cal. Who is your favorite Maximal from Beasties? In brackets, Canadian here. So by
Yeah.
Beasties, he means Beast Wars.
Lady Glitch, quickly Google Maximals Beast Wars. Look at their pictures and then get back to us, and we'll come to you last.
Theodore, he's the cutest.
Theodore, there you go, Christopher. We got her
Theodore.
answer. Snidler, did you watch Beast Wars enough to answer this?
Oh yeah, I loved Rat Trap, and I liked Primal. And,
Yeah.
I was
Gorilla Man.
Also a huge fan of
Friend of the
Megatron.
show, Gary Primal.
Oh yeah. Also a big fan of Megatron.
Well, he is a Predacon, so he does not count.
He's
No.
not a Maximal. Still though.
I'd rather
Yeah.
die before joining the Maximals. But I'd much prefer them to die.
Neocal, who is your favorite Maximal from Beasties? From Beasties. Also, Jeff E. We are also Canadians.
Yes.
When I was a kid, I liked Cheetor the most.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started watching them, and I'm like, oh, I really like Tigatron and Rhinox and
Mhm.
Primal more now that I'm older, and I appreciate them being responsible. But Christopher and I recently just wrapped up Beast Wars, the
Mhm.
behemoth of Beast Wars. It took a year. We did it, folks.
We did.
And
we're
I
still
kind of
going
like,
with too much Energon.
and I
On the
kind of
Beast
like
Machines
Cheetor
now.
again. Like it's come full circle. It's the cats. It's a tie between Tigatron and Cheetor, but if I had to choose, I am like a kindred spirit with Tigatron. He respects nature. He likes being away from the ship, like doing his own thing.
Yeah.
And that means he's absent from most episodes, but I dig Tigatron.
I can see his personality, what you just described, as being you, Cal. Because I mean, you leave your phone alone for a week, and we all think you like died, but you're all just off being in nature.
And trying not to let the sun burn me because my skin is made of sweet, sweet, thin porcelain.
Yes.
Thin
Christopher
porcelain.
Siege, favorite Maxipal.
So when I was a kid, my favorite character all around on the show was Dinobot. And he joined the Maximals, so he counts.
He fucking counts.
He fucking counts. He's a Maximal. He
Fuck,
died.
I forgot about that. Technically, he's a Maximal, right?
He died with honor, and his spark joined the Matrix. Fight me.
Shit. And only the Maximals join? No, all living things rejoin the Matrix.
That's something that they established in War for Cybertron, which I kind of like more than the
I like it more too.
like kind of black and white like duality, like nature of like the good guys versus bad guys and the OG Transformer shows. Anyway, so Dinobot was my favorite as a kid, like hands down, like by a wide margin. Love Dinobot, and I still do. Watching the show as an adult, though, I've come to really vibe with Rhinox.
Right?
Like Rhinox, he's this big, like lumbering guy, but he's also really he's pretty intelligent, but he's not like genius level smart. So he can figure most things out, but like he's also smart enough to know like when he has no idea like what the fuck to do.
That's the sign of intelligence, when you know that you can't do something.
And eventually, like especially in later seasons of the show, he starts getting to a point where he clearly like is giving no fucks anymore and is running out of patience with all of this. And I love it. I love Rhinox.
So yours is Rhinox.
Mine is Rhinox now. I never would have expected that as a child, but yeah, Rhinox is great. Finally, the last part
without Rhinox.
Oops.
Just saying.
The final part of Jeff E's multi-tiered question is he wants to know our favorite songs.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, just like
my.
in general?
Yeah.
Well, for me, it all depends on mood I'm in. Because sometimes I'll just binge a genre like on loop, or a certain song on loop, like forever until I
I'm
get
gonna
bored.
add an addendum. We're only allowed to choose 2
Son of a
each.
bitch. Okay, I have
All-time favorite.
I only have 3.
I'm gonna go. Let's say 3.
Oh,
3
okay,
Like
fine.
3 all time. 3 of all time. Yeah.
of all time. Okay, I've got. I've got
And
more.
like, okay, so like with this, like, it's like this is a very much a question, like, for me anyway, like asking my favorite movie. My immediate like follow-up response is what genre? What genre? What decade?
That's what. Yeah. So that was what Lady Glitch
So
was saying. She's like, "Hold on, wait a second.
Yeah.
What
So,
genre?
like,
What decade?"
this is kind of just like going to be like, for me anyway, like what pops into my head as
Right.
like songs that
Yeah.
like are favorites that I've listened to for a very, very long time. So it's by no means like a definitive like top 3 or anything like that, but it's
Ones that we like. Yeah. Songs that
or
we
love.
or love.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I got mine written down. Oh,
All
All right, go ahead.
All right.
Take it away.
so I listen to everything. Right now, what I've got spinning on repeat, One Day by Trading Yesterday. It is the backing track for one of my favorite reboot AMVs that's on YouTube. And it's just an eargasm for me with the way the chords progress and stuff. So, yay. And
Nice.
second one, I'm really getting back into like metal and like hard rock. So, Scarlet Cross by Black Veil Brides.
Nice.
And overall, as kind of like a me song, I actually kind of got inspired by you, Cal, with what you sent me today as like your theme song. Mine's going to have to be Turn the Page by Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band.
How do you feel about the Metallica cover of that song?
There's a Metallica cover of that song? I did not know that.
Yeah, they recorded a covers album back in like 1997 or 98 called Garage Inc.
Okay. I'm going to have to look that one up. Yeah, I feel like that one just
Good
kind of
question.
reflects my life the most. So, because I'm always on the road. So there's
All
my
right.
3.
Who wants to go next?
You go, Siege.
Sure, why not?
Yay.
Gonna go with Death in Fire by Amon Amarth.
Mm-hmm.
Amon Amarth is my favorite band of all time. Like, hands down, been listening to them for nearly 20 years now, and Death in Fire was the first song of theirs I ever heard. And it still is one of the, even after all this time, is still one of the top tracks of theirs that I listen to. I'm also gonna go with a weird one here. By Power Glove, the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon theme. I adore that song, and that song actually kind of introduced me to synthwave, which opened like a completely like new genre of music for me back in the early 2010s.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher
actually
and I both found like new age synthwave at the same time, so I have fond memories of us talking about that.
And finally, oh boy,
Oh boy, indeed.
Oh boy, oh boy.
the first thing that pops into my head is Phaeton by Kronos. They're a French death metal band.
Ooh.
But also I'm like in the Constellation of the Black Widow by Anal Nathrak. But then I'm like, do I want to go with another metal song? Or do I want to go with a Fear Factory song? Because Fear Factory was my favorite band during my high school years. They fucking suck now, but they were an important part of my adolescence. Do I want to go with an Ailstorm song because they're my second favorite band?
Mm-hmm. Shanties are all the rage right now, so
Hmm.
Indeed.
Yes. Let's this is creating dead air, so if someone else will come back to me if someone else has some tracks they want to name.
I have a very strange um taste in music. I listen to everything from classical to metal to folk. Like 1 minute I'll be listening to Grieg's piano concerto in A minor. And then I'll be listening to If I Had $1,000,000 by Bare Naked Ladies. So um
I hate that song.
I um
It has been
but
established on
but
these shows that Christopher
but
Siege hates fun.
I my one of the top favorite song. Well, uh, one of them is gonna have to be Xanadu by not the musical Xanadu. Not that Xanadu. Xanadu by Rush. By Rush. That is a
Okay.
shut the hell up.
Sorry, as soon as you said that, I was just thinking Olivia Newton-John,
Like,
and I'm
wait,
like,
what?
Xanadu.
That came on at work actually, and I was like, no.
Oh no,
way. Yeah.
that song is delightful, and I like it. Like it's a lot of fun, but
Right.
sorry. Continue. Xanadu by Rush.
Xanadu. That's a song I want played at my funeral, if and when that ever happens. But yeah, that's
I mean,
one
that
of
is
my
going to happen
all-time-
to all of us eventually.
eventually. But hopefully not tomorrow.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
This we're some wood, damn it. Yeah. Wow. What else do I got? There's a band called 5 Iron Frenzy, and they play a lot of awesome songs. So it's really kind of they're like kind of like goofy punk rock and ska. But Cannonball is a good one, and then there is oh man, everything is escaping me right now. This is a really loaded question.
Well, it's because
Anyway,
you're putting on
I actually thought of my third one, so if you would like a moment
okay,
to think about it.
go.
So there's a little bit of a story. I'm gonna take you on a journey through time and space, if you will. Little Mighty Boosh reference there for Sniggler.
Is it Nanaganon?
No, it's actually not related to the Mighty Boosh at all.
Okay.
Just the beginning of every episode is like, come with us now on a journey through time and space. Anyway, so back in early 2008, and this actually kind of relates to Ailstorm, but it's not an Ailstorm song. So back in early 2008, I believe it was March 25th or 26th, somewhere around there. Me and some friends went to a Ministry concert in Vancouver at the Croatian Cultural Center, which is where all of the metal shows were at that point in time.
I like this story.
It was literally just like it looked like a giant school gymnasium with like a like a shitty stage on it.
Yeah.
Saw so many bands there. Saw Amon Amarth there. Saw Ministry, like as I said, Ministry. I saw Belphegor, like so many bands. And Sephirum. But yeah, so Ministry was playing there that night, and after the show, the next day we went into at what used to be a quite famous Vancouver record store, Scrape Records. They're not around anymore, as far as I know, unfortunately, but they were a pretty big part of the Vancouver music scene at the time. We went into Scrape Records the next day, and playing overhead was a song from it was a metal song, but it was unlike anything I had ever heard before. And I was so curious about it that I actually asked the guy working there, I'm like, what is this playing? He's like, oh, it's this album. It actually just came out today. And I'm like, and he told me the name of the band, and I'm like, can you spell that for me? Because I want to write it down because I want to check the band out. And eventually, and we kept like looking around, browsing the store, and eventually, as we were about to leave, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, give me that CD. Like, I'm gonna buy it.
Mhm.
And the song that was playing was Woden Heerst by Heidewolk,
Hmm.
which are a Dutch folk metal band. The
Hey,
album had just came
sounds
out
it.
that day. The album's name was Saxonland. It is one of my favorite albums of all time,
Awesome.
and it introduced me to the wonderful and diverse genre of music that is folk metal, which in
Awesome.
turn then led me to discover Ailstorm shortly thereafter.
that is
Wow.
so.
Too
So,
cool.
yeah, and I have Rune tattooed on me. This is kind of
Okay.
awkward, but if you're watching this on video, the runes translate to Wodenheerst. I actually I have a rune book, a book of like how to translate runes, and I actually drew out Woden. I use this book to draw Wodenheerst in Nordic runes myself.
Cool.
That's badass.
This, incidentally enough, this tattoo was done by my ex-wife, so I always like to joke that she scarred me for life.
Nice.
All right, Cal, you've been kind of quiet doing your research.
Yeah,
I-
he's been hard at it.
He's been legitimately journalisming.
Legitimate journalism. Yeah, I've narrowed it down to, like you said, you can't actually come up with your favorites. You just got to go with what pops
Yep.
up in your head,
Yeah.
Exactly.
right? And okay, I need to cut it down to 3. Four, three,
Yes.
3, yes. But I also really like Laserhawk. Damn it. Okay.
343.
The Times They Are A-Changin' by Bob Dylan. It's one of those things I don't like listen to every day, but like every couple months I'll listen to it and I'll be like, man, this one man band is amazing.
That song was
He's
used
right
very
on it.
well, very effectively during the opening credit sequence of Watchmen.
Yes. Was it Bob Dylan or was it like a different cover? No, it was Bob Dylan.
Yeah, it was the original. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was Bob Dylan.
And then Perfect Circle, they have a song called Disillusioned,
Ooh.
which jives with me because it's kind of about like lying on the grass and unplugging from the silicone obsession. And which I am fond of.
As I'm
And
looking at my Apple Watch.
and well, you can use technology, but like, I mean, if you don't go and like touch the grass every day, not to sound like a spiritual like hipster or whatever, but I think you're worse for it.
Mhm.
You need to find your technorganic balance, if you will.
You need to find a techno organic balance.
Yes.
That makes the strongest maximal.
Mhm.
Damn, bringing out the deep shit.
And and
Or just
a little
referencing
band,
Beast Machines.
yeah, and a little band called The Cure. And I've narrowed it down to Love Song. I'm a big fan of The Cure.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like quite a bit of their music as well.
Yeah, I found them later in my life in like late 20s, and I was like, pop, like goth, like pop, like I love these guys. They don't have a genre, but I love them.
Their song "Burn" that's in the Crow
The
soundtrack.
Crow, that was almost my choice here.
In that movie,
I
like when
love that
he's like
song.
going, like when he's sorting out his memories of like him and Shelley's murder, and like the music kind of just fades in, and he punches the mirror, and then
Oh,
like
that's
he
hype.
starts like painting his face, and then the music like kicks in full with the
Every
guitar
night
riff.
I burn.
Yeah,
Every
so
night I
great.
call your name. Yeah. It's heavy.
Legitimately one of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion.
Has everyone here seen the Crow?
Yes.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, I fucking adore that movie.
Simple premise, doesn't need to be deep, and it just does what it wants. Dude murdered by bad guys. He come back. He scary crow man. He kill. I don't need it to be deeper
Perfect.
than. But he's still nice. He's still good,
Yeah.
and we did it.
Yeah. Snidler, did you name all of your choices?
I no, but it's kind of impossible. The
what are you
first
gonna
one
do?
that came to mind is probably the most powerful song I can think of in terms of composition. It's like a 12-minute long song, but it doesn't feel that at all. You kind of don't want it to end, but it tells
Leonard Skinner's Free
a
Bird.
magnificent story. No, of of Xanadu, and that's my choice. That's probably one of my all-time favorite songs, Xanadu by Rush. Look it up.
Nice.
You'll be changed forever.
And of all the
If
songs,
you don't know who Rush is, I think
Watch
they're worth
I
checking
Love
out.
You, Man, and you will then know who Rush is.
You'll know who Rush is.
Yo,
Yeah,
all Rush all the time.
yeah.
Mhm.
You will know the
Rest in peace,
glory
Neil Peart.
of slapping the bass.
Slap it a bass.
Anyone who knows me, and like I've even mentioned it on this fucking show before, but I
That's a
love
great
the movie.
movie.
I Love You, Man.
Oh,
It's I think it's one of the best comedies of the 21st century. It's extremely formulaic.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it follows the buddy the buddy comedy formula like
yeah,
to a T, but it
does
it
it
does
well.
it so well.
yeah.
And the two leads in that film are just oozing with chemistry and charisma that the movie's a joy. I love it.
It's a joy.
Joy.
I think
We have
we
is that
answered
all the
that
questions?
question.
I think so. Yeah, let's move on to the next one.
All right.
A Patreon question from our
Oh.
$25 patron. She goes by the name Game Sprite Mode. She
Yay!
asks,
Sweet. Hey.
yeah, huge shout out to her. She supports us on Patreon at the top tier and has for a couple months now. Before that, she even bought one of our T-shirts. Like she's a
super
metalhead.
fan.
She's a fucking metalhead too.
He's so
He
good.
put
Yeah.
food on Christopher Siege's table. God damn it.
So big shout out to you. You're cool. I'm
Yeah.
a fan.
Yeah, you're the MVP.
Cheers.
But she asks, if you could be any reboot character for a day, who would you be and why?
Ooh.
Who wants to start this one?
Holy
Shit.
shit.
Um,
Hmm.
yes.
Right? All right, I'll go first. I'll go with the Andrea.
I
It's all-
knew it. I knew it.
Of course you knew it.
Of course I knew it. We all knew it.
Okay. But why? .gif.
That's why. Well, why? One, why wouldn't I? But
Is it because she's athletic and doesn't take shit?
yes, and I can practice pole vaulting with a trident over walls.
Fucking trident. I'm
Hey!
surprised she doesn't have a Xena Warrior Princess move even once.
Right,
And
she
the
practiced
show where she
water,
plants it in
though.
the ground and
Yes,
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
that outfit's pretty banging too. So
Yeah.
that's true. If you went out like on a stage doing a set like with that's top tier cosplay.
I might have to do that on the stage I work at. So
Unfortunately, I don't like.
She was rocking
feels-
yoga pants before that was like the norm.
Even-
Oh, they're
yeah.
pleather. They're pleather. Come now.
They're yoga pads.
I feel like that would be
Yeah.
wasted effort on the clientele. Like, I'm not expecting any one person to like stand up and go reboot. Yeah.
Why not?
well, they can think whatever they want. I know it's reboot.
Okay, that's fair. You're
Yeah,
not
that's a
doing
good point. Yeah, doing it for you, not for them.
Exactly.
Snidler. Reboot character for a day. Are we in the real world or are we in Reboot as
Yeah.
that character?
Because
Ooh.
that's a thing.
You know what? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Who cares?
Okay.
Doesn't.
Matrix. Renegade.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to have a cool bionic eye that like zeroes in on whatever you're doing or killing or whatever. You know, having a gun, basically a smartphone gun, you know, where it
Smart
just
gun.
targets everything. A smart gun. Yeah. Smartphone gun. These things do everything.
He does come with a lot of emotional baggage, though.
That's
So
true.
would you want to take that on?
Yes, because
Speaking
know,
of someone
I
who
think-
has a lot of emotional baggage, it's not a lot of fun.
Get to know me, bud. I feel like much like he learned to control it, kind of as in the show. That kind of just to a certain extent, I can kind of relate to like certain things that Enzo feels and certain things that he's been through, I suppose, emotionally. And you know, I feel like I could take that on because a lot like him, I've learned how to manage my rage and manage my anger. Um, like be a monster and totally control. You know, being able to like control myself. In
Despite all my rage, I am still just Nicolas Cage.
Basically,
So Snidler, you're just
And,
a monstrous teddy bear.
basically, yeah.
Okay.
I can, you know, I'm capable of fucking shit up, but I'm still very much a friendly dude.
Okay.
Still that, you know, kid, if you will.
The Siege Lure. Well, that was
Yes.
deeper than I expected. And thank you, Snidler.
You're
Interesting.
welcome.
Your reasons are much different than I would have thought. The Siege. Who would you be for a day?
Mike the
And
TV.
why is it hexadecimal?
I would be Mike the TV because he is charismatic, talkative, and spouts pop culture references.
Awesome.
A lot of you are choosing characters that are like surprises me.
You're mouse, aren't you?
No,
I mean,
not-
my next choice was going to be like really boring, like really boring and obvious. Like I'd be Bob. I love Bob. He's like,
Yeah.
you'd have Glitch, man.
yeah, he is Glitch. He's also just like a really nice guy. He's like kind of a doofus at times, but like he tries his best all the time. Yeah, whatever. I'll go with Bob. Sure.
I like my
okay.
TV better because it's like
don't
you
have to
being
change
fun.
Be Mike.
Uh,
I'll be like Mike. Yeah.
I was going to say Matrix, but for like completely different reasons than Snidler listed. I was gonna be like, oh, Matrix, because he's like fucking like jacked and he can punch down doors. Doesn't
Well,
he fucks?
obviously
Like,
that's a good reason.
And doesn't afraid of anything.
and he doesn't afraid of anything. But then I was like, well, that's shallow like thinking. You just want to be like a jacked dude who can punch down steel doors. And you know what? I
Got a hot
would be
girlfriend.
hexadecimal for a day.
All right.
Nice.
She can fucking fly, she can teleport people, literally gives no fucks, has the power to destroy or like change or create or like whatever, and just have no idea what's like going on in her head. So if I was Hex for a day, I could feel fabulous and experience what it's like to be a crazy virus.
There you go.
A crazy
Some
MILF
sweet
virus.
with some
Honestly
sweet
thought you were
bondage
gonna say-
here.
I thought you
Yeah.
were gonna say Nullzilla for a minute. That would be Nullzilla for
Nullzilla
a
is
day.
actually an entity comprised of millions of nulls,
So
and
technically you
therefore
are
is not
hexadecimal.
actually a character in of himself.
Thank you, Mr.
Actually.
Christopher. Actually.
And that's my answer.
Well,
Heck,
in that
well,
line of thinking, I would be the like fake Megazord / Megatron
the
body.
Gundam robot. Yeah,
It's not a Gundam robot.
it looks like
It's
it.
a combiner.
Combiner,
Yeah. Okay. Definitely Megazord. Okay.
Super, yeah.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna get real deep,
And
I'm gonna go back to mine and say about Andrea. She's always on the back end doing logistical work, which I prefer rather than being out in the open. And she can adapt to any situation, which I find myself really good at doing. So, boom.
Nice.
Thanks.
I just went for the one that would be the weirdest.
That's cool.
That's also
It's
kind of
okay.
why I chose Mike.
Today.
If I were Mouse, I would pose for that picture of the puzzle that I want to hang on my wall.
You would take pictures of yourself,
Yeah,
mail
totally.
it to you,
Yeah,
and then
totally.
when you change bodies back, you go, "Hey, I got these pictures of Mouse."
Hey, check me out on OnlyFans. All right.
There you
Okay, where
Cash me
Where are
outside.
we?
How about that?
where are we now? Question.
Okay, let's go with Chris G on YouTube asks, do you find there is much this is actually a good one since we're a mix of Canadians and Americans.
Okay.
Do you find there is much difference between Canadian and American fans of Reboot or fans in general? I'm going to start by answering specifically as it pertains to Reboot. Reboot has this weird, like, it lives in this like weird place in like millennial pop culture where it's like kind of considered as like part of Canadiana in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like it's a very like for Canadian millennials, like it's this very like beloved like Canadian thing.
It's like
Which is weird to me that most of our listeners are American then. But
Well, their population's way bigger.
true.
Mm.
And I can't speak to what it's like for American millennials, which Lady Glitch, you definitely can.
Uh-huh.
But I suspect that's probably not the case. Whereas you say to like just about like fucking anyone, any Canadian who's like in their 30s, like you mentioned Reboot, and they're like, yeah, Reboot.
That's true. Any Canadian in their 30s, they know Reboot. Whereas I feel like it's more niche in the US.
It is.
Yeah, definitely.
We got our Reboot relatively late. I mean, it did show on ABC back in the early 90s, but we didn't really get introduced to it until it came on Toonami in 99. And then it kind of went from there. But at the same time, when I was going through middle school, it's like if you like nerdy shit, you got beat up. So I did not have a good experience liking nerd stuff and being public about it. So I didn't know I had fellow classmates that also was into that kind of stuff until like just very recently. We find each other on social media and they see that I'm doing a podcast. And I'm like, oh my God, I love Reboot. I'm like, how did I not know this, 15, 17 years ago?
Yeah,
right.
So we were kind of a bunch of closeted nerds down here, but we also have found through community on social media, through the Reboot Revival group, there's a bunch of us. And we all interact with other people around the world, like Europe, Australia, obviously Canada, many of us in the States. So now that we're older and we can respect each other's nerdiness, it's become a much more pleasurable experience as an adult looking back and rewatching this very classic cartoon.
Yeah.
It's interesting how the losers are kind of like the people that make fun of people for liking things. But like in school, the cool kids were the ones that made fun of the other kids for liking things. Like D&D was a big like a lot of people secretly want to play, but like nobody wants to admit it.
Yeah, it was a weird.
I was in a
weird
smaller
peer pressure
school.
there.
Yeah, same for you guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like everybody was interested, but like there'd be like 3-4 dudes who are like, "Oh, you some like D&D nerd? What, you want to stay a virgin your whole life?"
Yep.
I
It's
dealt
weird
with that
that
being growing up reading comic books. It was the same thing.
See,
It's
I
so
don't.
different now because I feel like our generation was was kind of gypped because now it's super cool to be a nerd. It has been for like the last 10-ish
Yeah.
years,
Mhm.
right? But when we were growing up,
Revenge
it's
of the
like
Nerds. We're standing up.
video games are for like boys that don't want a girlfriend. Comics were for like mega dweebs, right? And Dungeons and Dragons are for like antisocial like nerds that are never gonna
Yeah.
And
date.
nowadays, the biggest movie
Yeah.
in
Yep.
the world, movies like
Especially
the
in the past
biggest, literally the highest
year.
fucking Marvel comic book movie,
Mhm.
and the all of like the top people playing D&D. I mean, it's great, like, but I'm still kind of like, what the fuck happened? Like,
Hey,
where was this 20 years
hey.
ago? When I was getting shit talked for
I
reading
was always
comics.
bullied for watching Power Rangers, and I was bullied for watching Reboot, and
You were
Yeah,
bullied
so
for
I-
watching Power Rangers? Everybody
Yeah.
liked Power.
When I was in school.
Really?
Like you didn't admit to
for some
watching
some
Power Rangers.
reason I didn't meet a lot of people that liked it. Some people actually did like come to me quietly, like I'll be like going home for lunch, and they'll be like, "Aiden, wait up!" I'll be like, "What? What?" I'll be like, "I like Power Rangers." I'm just like, "Sweet, let's talk about this." You know?
Weird.
Yeah.
Everybody in my school back in like 93 liked Power Rangers. 93,
Yeah.
94.
It was just a very very strange time. Yeah, we've made we've tabled a turn. You know,
We've tabled the turns, folks.
we've
Yep.
it's like it's real Revenge of the Nerds. You know, we're standing up.
Yeah. Except
how it
there's
is.
no revenge to be had. It's just us
It's just us being
wishing that
ourselves.
we had been
Yeah.
accepted sooner.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what do we got now? What other?
With a question that really only I can answer, because why not? Friend of the show. In fact, one of the best friends of the show, I would say. Our boy, Cone Killer Confusor.
Woo!
Hey, man.
Shout out to him. I believe he supports us on Patreon too.
Nice.
He asks, what is the inspiration behind Lasercomb? Now, I assume he means the name Lasercomb. So
Yes.
that's what that's the assumption that I'm gonna work off of. So, story here. Let me take you back once again on a journey through time and space, back to ye old 2009. Yes. Step through the Stargate with me and go back to 2009.
Turn back the clock and roll back the rock to the dawn of time.
Yeah.
And sock the sock and bop the bop and sock 'em boppers and
Really whips the llama's ass.
nice Winamp. Yeah, so back in 2009, didn't know what podcasts were, never even heard of them. Well, actually no, that's not true. I had an iPod and like I'd seen through iTunes like there was a podcast section like back in the mid 2000s, but didn't really think much of it. And at the time I was like, why would I want to listen to someone talk? Lo
Right?
and behold. Over a decade later. But my partner at the time got into podcasts because she was going on her annual like family vacation with her family off to Mexico, which I was never invited to. But that's another story there.
He's not salty about it at all.
No, not at all.
Mm.
But so she was looking for ways to pass the time on the flight, and she discovered podcasts. And when she came back, she was still really into these podcasts that she had discovered. And she was like, "Oh, you should check these out." And so I listened to a couple of the podcasts that she had been listening to, and wasn't into them at all. But I kind of liked the concept after actually listening to it. And I was really into, at the time, really into reading like video game news and whatnot. and I discovered that my favorite gaming news website at the time, joystick with a Q.com, may she rest in peace, had a podcast of their own. And so I checked that out, and that was actually the first podcast that I really got into, and I got really into it, and new episodes dropped every Friday, and it got to a point where I was like actively looking forward to a new episode of the Joystick Podcast. And so there was a segment on one episode of the Joystick Podcast, which I am actually just going to play for you. So we can all listen to it together.
Oh my God, we almost left without Lasercomb discussion.
We can't do that. We cannot ignore
Ludwig,
that.
why don't you close this out with just you can read your response and I'll read the first email. How's that sound?
Just read
Right,
part
so
of it.
I get this email, and this is in line with the Don't Chew Dare marketing email that I got for some reason. How do I get on these people's lists?
I don't know.
I don't know. You're lucky. You're gifted.
Thanks to the scientists at Lexington International, another progression in technology is poised to change a popular mindset. The Hair Max Laser Comb is a handheld device that has made low-level laser therapy accessible to men and women in their own homes, eliminating
wanted low-level laser therapy.
eliminating the powerlessness of those suffering from hair loss. For generations,
Yes.
hair loss is this is a quote. For generations, hair loss has been perceived as something that people are basically defenseless against, says Lexington International CEO David Michaels, and one-time sufferer of hair loss. The Hair Max Laser Comb has changed that perception for those who use it. Drastic measures like surgery or baldness are no longer the only options when hair loss or thinning.
I love how baldness is a drastic measure. It's like, oh no, I'm losing my hair. Baldness is the next step. I have to do it.
5 years later, he's bald. He's like, that was a bit drastic. That was kind of a drastic.
A very
measure.
slow but drastic measure.
Right. So Ludwig gets this email, and he.
I just got a response to it too. This is perfect.
Right.
Okay, so
Ludwig responds.
Wait. So this is. Keep in mind, this is the Hair Max Laser Comb. It features lasers. So I responded to the lady who sent us this by saying, I don't understand. Aren't lasers, also referred to as lasers, dangerous? I seem to recall that whenever they come into contact with spaceships in the movies, the result is a very large explosion. Is my hair going to explode when I use the Hair Max Laser Comb? I'd really like to try it if it's completely safe, since I'm certain that my coworkers have been making fun of my toupee behind my back. P.S. Will my wife be able to make use of this device?
So you just got an email back?
I did. Oh, the reply is, yes, it's true. Lasers in the movies are usually bad news, but I assure you, in this case...
No way.
But I assure you that in this case, they are completely safe. Also, your wife can indeed benefit from it as well. I've used it on my hair, and notice that... And
Okay,
notice the improvement in overall manageability. If you're interested in reviewing it, would it have a place on Joystick?
Can I be the first to say, of course it would?
What?
Holy crap.
Where do the lasers even come out of? It's a comb. I don't understand where it stores the lasers. Do they
I
come out of the
like that she's already suspicious. Like, that bald son of a bitch isn't going to put it on his site. He just wants to fix his hair back.
Hello.
Laser comb.
Like, do the tines of the comb have lasers coming out of them? I don't understand.
Are we being
That's why we
fired?
got to get one. Do whatever you have to, Ludwig. Whatever you have to.
To get a laser comb?
Yeah, you got to have a laser comb.
I want the future running through my hair.
Oh, so that's laser comb.
Just read her response again for 1 second. I just want to hear it again. It's true.
Yes, it's true. Lasers in the movies are usually bad news, but I assure you that they are completely safe. Also, your wife can from it as well. I've used it on my hair and noticed an improvement in overall manageability. If you're interested in reviewing it, would have a place on Joystick.
She says that lasers in the movies are bad news.
Like who says like? It's like he's coming around in a leather jacket with smokes rolled up in his sleeve. Here comes that laser again. It's bad news.
I don't want you hanging out with that laser boy anymore.
They said the ladies at the crib have said he's trouble.
Oh wow,
Oh,
that's
crap.
so nice.
Okay, so Lasercomb. You know what's sad? Nobody will hear this.
I thought that I wrote it in such a way that it was so obvious that I was making fun of her. And yet...
All right. That to me, like to my first and one of my favorite podcasts of all time, that is the number one bit that has stuck out in my mind after all these years. And when I was originally like setting up this Discord channel that we're part of for the purposes of podcasting, I originally named it just Project Lasercomb as like a joke and a callback to that bit from the Joystick podcast. And eventually I decided to just lean into it. I'm like, fuck it, Lasercomb Productions. Why not?
Why not?
Works. It works.
And it works.
Day.
Initially,
And
I thought it was "I'm a fire in my laser."
No. And I changed the spelling from laser to lazor because of what Ludwig said. He's like laser, or as it's pronounced, lazor. So, yeah.
There you have it.
There you have it. That's the story of Lasercomb right there.
Awesome.
Woo.
There we go.
Yep. Lady Glitch,
Yep.
you have more questions, yes?
Ah.
Do. So this one's going to come from one of my friends, Chad Moore. Hi, Chad. What's up?
Hey, Chad.
What's up, Chad?
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a fellow fraternity brother of mine, so he's a good soul.
Nice.
Is he
On
the Chad?
No, he's not the Chad. There's other Chads. He's just a Chad, not the Chad.
He's a Chad.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, which is the bigger Chad? Chadwick or Chadley?
Chadwick.
What do you guys think? Chadley
Chadwick
or Chadwick?
Boseman. May
Let's
he
do
rest in peace.
Chadley.
All right, this is going to be another one that you have to sit back and think. On a scale of 1 to I have the high ground, where do you rate yourself as a pop culture nerd?
Probably somewhere in the middle, I think.
Mm.
My rating is a sufficient amount of energon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's where I fall. In the scale of what was it? 1 to
I have the high ground.
Yeah, I'm a sufficient amount of energon.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say 4 out of 5 war planets.
Okay.
I would say
Yeah.
I would give it a that was easy enough.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Solid.
Boom.
Yeah,
It's
I-
a very common rating system.
I know lots of pop culture shit. Obviously, like I pick up on a great deal of the references that the reboot makes, which the show this season especially has literally just been like wall to wall like references to other things to the show's detriment. I would point out, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not like any kind of scholar about it. I've watched a lot of movies and TV shows. I read about them in my off time.
We have our niches.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like I might make Dragon Ball or at certain anime references or
Which I'm generally oblivious to.
Exactly. And Christopher's fear is in the greater like cinema, right?
Mhm.
But
Yes.
when it comes to musicals, I'm like, or whatever. So everybody has their little overlapping spheres.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that is what makes us work so well as a quartet when we do these, is as we can feed off of each other and bounce ideas. So it's just an ever evolving like throw of knowledge that we get off of each other.
A quartet is 4, right?
Yes.
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 You are learning, Cal.
All right.
Oh, that's why there's 4 quarters and $1.
That is why there are 4 quadrants in space in the Star Trek universe.
That's why they're stuck in the Delta Quadrant.
And delta is the 4th letter in the Greek alphabet.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, the 4 quadrants are alpha, beta, gamma, delta.
Gamma Delta.
We are learning so much today.
I know.
Techno Gecko on Twitter at TechnoGecko1 asks, here's a simple one that's probably been asked already. What's everyone's favorite reboot episode? And if you want, what's everyone's favorite reboot character?
Night.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I can answer this one really, really easily.
Go for
Go
it.
My favorite episode is Talent Night.
Okay.
Nice. Nice.
It's kind of a toss up between Talent Night and Nullzilla. I adore those 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And my favorite character, it's a boring choice, but Bob. I really like Bob.
Mhm.
And I mentioned earlier why I liked Bob, so.
There you go.
Lady Glitch.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go next. My favorite episode is Identity Crisis Part 2.
Nice.
Now,
Wow.
I wasn't around you guys when you did that episode, but the reason I like it the most is because Dot kind of comes out of her shell and she makes some big moves in her own character development progress, and we see the end result of that. She pretty much kicks ass, and it leads right into season 2 with Infected. So she's just doing her thing, and I can appreciate her for that. And on the same wavelengths, favorite character, it's going to be a toss-up between Dot and Mouse. If I can hybrid those 2 together, it'd be great. But I love
Not
Dot's.
Andrea.
She's my third. But I love Dot's leadership. I love her growing as a character. With Mouse, I love her sassiness.
I am a big fan of Mouse, so
Yeah.
I get it. She's definitely up there for me.
And she's so freaking smart too. Love it. And she's purple. So.
Yeah.
But
Cal,
doesn't eat
you
people,
go.
as
Yes.
far as we know.
Mhm.
Even don't think I probably didn't see. It's weird because I have nostalgia for certain episodes, but I like them different as an adult. So when I was a kid, when the D&D episode came on, I was like, "Oh yeah!" And then I think we reviewed it, and I gave it
A sufficient
mid
amount of
tier.
energon.
A sufficient amount of reboot.
A sufficient number of energy shakes.
Yes.
I think it's.
Hmm.
I won't answer because we're gonna get into our favorite episodes and stuff
Mhm.
later. What my favorite episode is,
Okay.
but I think my favorite character is. Oh, it's hard. It's between Hexadecimal and Dot.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
it's like when you're a kid, you're like, Dot.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
rewatching it as an adult, I'm like, man, the weight of the fucking world. She is shoulders thicker than Atlas.
Oh,
Yeah, she is hands down the most capable character on this show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think Dot's deeper than Hexadecimal. I think it's Dot.
Okay.
I think it's actually Dot. She gets shit done. She's easily the most capable character on the show. Shit gets so bad and dull. She thinks everyone she knows dies, but she still fights and stays strong. It's Dot. She's easily the best character. Enzo, the show is about Enzo, and it's almost Enzo, but I think a lot of people consider Matrix a different character than Little Enzo.
Mhm.
And if you consider them different characters, then it has to be Dot.
Right.
Mm. Yes.
Sure.
Senor Snidler.
Oh man, I'm just a huge fan of Reboot altogether. I think everybody here knows that.
Yep.
This news to me.
It is a huge
Mr. Alphanumeric
top.
rating himself. AP Snidler.
I do give it that a lot. Yeah, again, we're going to be talking about this also our top 5. But there's the Crimson Binome has to be
Mm. Mhm.
one of my favorite episodes ever. just the pirates, just the swashbuckling adventures on the high energy seas, and I'm gonna have to go with I'm gonna have to go with Dot as a favorite character because honestly, yeah, her go getter attitude. She's got a um. It's exactly what Cal said, basically. Like, weight of the world on her shoulders. She's basically just carrying it around, and no matter what you do, you can piss her off. You can knock her down. She'll always get back up. She always strives to be the best, and it's like you said, Glitch in Identity Crisis Part 2, where even when she beat herself down so harshly, and then she saw kind of like this alternate reality where she just gave up, and
Mhm.
nobody knew her. Everybody thought she was nullified. And she still managed to dig herself out of that pit. And I think um, there are other reasons for liking other characters, but I think that's one that I can agree with everybody wholeheartedly on.
Yeah.
Is Dot Matrix being
I dig it.
probably one of the
dig it.
best characters. Yeah. So there you go.
Cool.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right,
Do
we gotta.
have any more Q?
We do. We have a
I-
few questions from Sasha on Twitter. Sasha, the SHSL indecision
Oh.
monkey.
Yeah.
What the hell does SHSL mean? Does anyone know?
Got me.
I don't know.
They have a few questions, so I'm just gonna kind of
Super
rapid
high
fire.
school level. You're a fan of Danganronpa? Hey, indecision. I'm a huge fan of Danganronpa too. Hello, I had no idea that's what that meant.
Oh, well, there you go.
Or it may mean stupid head, so leave.
I do. I do like the fact that their Twitter handle is at bemused horseman.
I saw that. I love that.
That's comical. They
Amused
have
horseman.
several questions, so I'm just going to kind of rapid fire the responses.
Yeah, let's do it.
They say they'll start with the obvious one. What would you have wanted out of a true conclusion to season 4? I don't know. I know that's not a very satisfying answer, but
What would I have wanted it to end with?
if there was a
feel more
season
like-
5 of Reboot, what would you have wanted out of that?
Oh, what would I have wanted out of it? It to be a little bit, it to have the feel of season 1
Mhm.
with a climax similar to season 2, but a satisfying, it being resolved satisfyingly.
Mhm.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like there being like a danger to the system and it being resolved more quickly than 2 whole seasons, which is what it took seasons 2 conflict to resolve. So the feel of season 1, but with an amping up like danger and then beating it. I feel like Gigabyte is a good example of that.
Mhm.
There's a web creature, he's a danger, they try to get him, he's trying to merge the two viruses together, and they deal with it. I something like that would be a standalone mainframe adventure. Screw the net and the web, keep it in mainframe.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like when you open it up to more things outside of mainframe, it just gets complicated.
Yep.
Because then we bring it back to the simplicity of season 1 before you start adding a bunch of bullshit.
Yep. We could still have Crimson Binome and Ray Tracer. They wander, right? But not every episode.
It's also much
Same
like
with
Mouse. Mouse is also fluid.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next?
I would like to see Bob and Dot actually get married in a real ceremony with real Bob. Eradicate the viral evil. Shit goes back to normal, and then they have their little party, and the cameras pan out to all of mainframe, and then the screen goes black. Boom.
Okay. Oh, like a finale. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm okay if that's the very end.
Yes,
episode.
the very end. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I dig it.
Yeah, that would also Megabyte and Bob have their fight, like their real fight.
Fisticuffs.
Yes, nunchucks.
I feel I'm satisfied with the fisticuffs and the ass whooping he got.
Yeah, I
From
don't think.
from Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah, get
Snidler, what about you?
Snidler.
I'm kind of with Glitch on this one. I think I think if everyone just a satisfying ending. Everything's alphanumeric. End credits. End prog.
We can make all of our three ideas work, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it depends. Like the second to the penultimate episode, or maybe the episode before that, have the climax and the danger resolved, and then wind down with the last two episodes, ending with them
And we
getting
see
married.
what the characters do or what they're going to be doing. Like Mouse could literally get into ship and go to another system, or
With the
and
Crimson
Ray-
Binome.
Yeah.
Oh, they make another a Saucy Mare. Saucy Mare 2. There you go.
I dig it.
Also, next question from Indecision Monkey, Bemused Horseman. Also, considering the sheer number of references in the original, what kind of modern things would you want them to reference in the reboot? Games based on thinly veiled parodies of modern games, whole plot references to recent movies, or should they keep it timeless classic 90s? I'll go first. I'd love to see them actually directly play a game that's influenced by Metal Gear.
I was gonna say, I think staying with the times would be kind of cool. It would be kind of cool to see some flashbacks, but it would also be awesome to see being the ones that fire back in Call of Duty. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and seeing Reboot actually tackle the concept of MMOs and multiplayer, online multiplayer games. That could
That's
be
when
really
it would get interesting. Yeah.
Or just have a straight out, just try to avoid direct references to Fortnite.
And no, fuck it. Throw that shit in there too. Have Enzo Fortnite dancing.
Yeah, why not?
And then Bob be like, oh,
Enzo.
and put his hand on his forehead, and that's it.
Because remember,
he's supposed to be a kid.
Remember, this is a television show for children. So if you're making it now, you want to put things in there that, longtime fans will but you want to put things in there that kids are going to connect with. So Fortnite dances, they'd be all over that shit.
And if we gave our characters social media, what would social media do in mainframe?
Well, it's weird because they're part of a system. They're not. Well, it depends. Is this a different universe, right? Or are they literally in a computer and they are NPCs in video games, right? In which case, they wouldn't really interact with social media, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's the inner work. It's the inner workings of your computer's hard drive, essentially.
Well, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which
that being
social
said,
media
they have
doesn't
television.
really. Yeah.
Right. They have television and radio, and so who knows?
If the TV became a flat screen.
Oh God.
It's the thin thing.
New and improved, Mike the TV. Now here's the thing: two Christophers, and it sounds like we're all in agreement. It would have to be modernized, but I think the majority of the nostalgia fans, Christopher and I go into detail about the problem with the fandom is the fans. They would all hate that. Yeah. They would all hate COD and Halo references. They'd hate modernized MMO references to WoW or Final Fantasy or whatever. They want it to stay rooted in the past. So again, it depends who the show is for. Everybody hated the Guardian Code for two reasons. One, it's not great, but two, it's not meant for Christopher.
It's not meant for us.
It's not meant for us.
Again, to what I was saying, this is a children's show.
The
Guardian Code sucked. I'm not going to dispute that. I've said that myself. I've watched the first 6 episodes or so. The show's fucking terrible.
Kids
but
didn't
at least they tried something. And like I said, it's a show for kids. They can't expect children nowadays to watch a show that people in their mid-30s watched in the mid-90s.
Mhm.
Like kids aren't going to be into that. They need to do something to try and appeal to children nowadays. That's
Yeah.
what they
That's why
tried with the Guardian Code. They failed and fell flat on their face because the
And that-
show got canceled after one season. But
And that's why I think it's
Yeah.
okay to just put things to bed.
Mhm.
agreed.
You're
And
not
that
gonna. That's it.
that
Put it to
actually
bed,
ties
folks.
into the next part of Bemused Horseman's question. What would you prefer to have? Finish the original story, make the third movie of season 4, or be done with it? Or make a completely new yet faithful reboot, perhaps in a new system in modern times that sees the event of the original series as ancient history to them. I'll start off with this one. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you're
Unpopular opinion, because they want to hear our take on the new season. Uh, it's over.
yeah, leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
It's a show from like 25 plus years ago. Like we're having a blast talking about it week in and week out, but like it's done. It's over.
Uh-huh.
They tried to bring it back. None of you liked it. So
What are you gonna do?
if you want to try and bring the property back, there's no way you can make it any kind of sequel to the original show. You need to like completely reinterpret it for a modern audience and to reflect modern technology, which then like would it even really be the same show? No. So what's the point?
You'd have to remake it, and then everybody would hate the remake.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what are you gonna do? So we have it sounds like we're all in agreement
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
on that.
Definitely.
I'm bracing for the downvotes on this video.
We want to hear, ooh, like, what
Like,
could you do? And we briefly talked about, like, oh, they make us Aussie Mare 2, and, the Crimson Bynum goes away, and they get married, and all that stuff. But realistically, like, Bon Voyage, it's kind of like Snidler and I are huge fans of Firefly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's gone.
And somehow the stars aligned, and Serenity was made, and it is good for the fans. It didn't do great box office, but the fans love it.
Yeah.
Just leave it. If you did make another season of Firefly, it wouldn't be good.
It would not be good. Yeah.
So it's one of those things where just sayonara. Let it be. It has lived in its place was in the 90s, and our hearts as children, and
Yeah.
that's where I leave it.
And because like Reboot is it's based around technology of its time, it's inherently kind of dated.
Yeah. And if you
And-
modernize it, it's not.
If you
No.
if you modernize it, it's not the same thing. So like what's even the point?
Yeah.
If you're gonna try and take that concept and like make it contemporary, like just do your own thing with it.
Might as well make something new.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then when people review it, and if it's good, they can say, "Oh, this reminds me of Reboot," right? Like you,
Yeah.
Oh, this reminds me of The Matrix. Oh, this reminds me of whatever like show. It can be reminiscent, and it can have you know what? It can have pulp culture references to Reboot. How about that?
that would be fun. Yeah, I'd love to see. I'd love to see Reboot actually referenced in something contemporary.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
that would be a joy.
That would be
It
sweet.
would
Like
be.
character just saying alphanumeric.
Why not?
Yeah.
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 That'd be cool.
Or you know how people name inanimate objects like cars or whatever? Somebody like
Yeah.
slaps their old like tube
Cadillac.
TV, and they're like, good old Mike. I
Or
played
they
lots of
like
games
Yeah,
on
they
him."
slap the
yeah.
hood on their like classic red Cadillac and call it
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah.
There you
That'd be
go.
awesome.
Yeah.
Ew.
Lady Glitch, did you have any more questions?
Yes, I've got 2 personals and 1 group. I'll do my personals first.
Sure.
These will be real quick. My friend Carolyn Shea, she lives up in the Northeast in the States. So, hi, Carolyn, what's up? She asked me personally, would you ever move back to the Orlando area? Now, I lived in Orlando before I moved up here to Savannah for a couple of years, worked in the theme parks. And that is a huge no. I would never move back to Orlando because everybody is moving there and it's oversaturated. Y'all are full, get out.
Yeah.
And
Sorry,
Filthy
Northeast.
Victoria.
like, stop moving here, people.
So
Plus-
it would be good if it had 1 million less people.
Million less people and was like a lot less expensive because housing and
Sounds
rent.
like here.
That's Victoria. Yeah. Yeah.
And if I would have known that in 2017 before I moved down, I wouldn't have moved down. Yeah. My second question is, do you think you are done with the Run Disney series? Now, for everyone listening or watching, I do run races, half marathons, etc. And the Disney parks had a running series called Run Disney. They still have it, although it's not quite as elaborate as it once was maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago. So I was very involved in it from 2013 to 2018. And it was kind of my identity. And after I did my races in 2018, I'm like, my return on investment is not what it used to be. The races were a lot cheaper back in the day. And they became very oversaturated with how many runners they would take in for their maximum allotment. And that number just kept growing. And unless you are in one of the first couple of corrals when they launch at the beginning, you're literally walking most of the course because the roads are so narrow and people are not, there's a variety of speeds with the runners. So you're either cruising along and then you get stopped by a wall of people because people don't understand runner's etiquette. Yeah, athletics etiquette is a thing. It is.
Philistines.
Yes. So I'm very much done with Run Disney. I haven't done it in 3 years. I've got my medal rack out there on my wall. It's just like, these are all my pretty achievements. My medals look great. And I have all these wonderful memories. So it can rest. It can rest.
Why are they so expensive?
Because
To
it's
join a
Disney.
marathon.
It's well, there's a run series, so you have different weekends throughout the year. You have regular marathon weekend in January, Princess in February. You've got Star Wars Light and Dark Side on 2 different coasts that they used to have. Wine and Dine in November. And then they would do like Disneyland Paris for an international run. So it was a whole huge thing. But
Christopher, Aiden, and listeners, Google how much it is to join your like local marathon and
yeah,
be shockingly amazed
races are
at how much you have to pay to run in the
Run
street.
with a
so you
group.
can run to run with the bulls.
Yeah, even if it's not Run Disney, like races are expensive. And
I cannot imagine ever paying for such a thing.
I fall in that. I'm a
Personally.
stingy ass. My work would offer to like pay for half of it, and I'm like, only half? Yeah.
Yeah.
Paid $45 to join a marathon. Oh, but we got team shirts. Then definitely no.
Yeah, it's like the bigger the races, the sometimes the more expensive it is, but also depends on who's running it. Now, if I'm doing one of the World Marathon majors, I'm doing Chicago in October. Sometimes the prices are like minimal compared to other races. Like I think I paid 200 USD for Chicago, but New York and Boston are in the 300s. It's nuts. So,
audio listeners, I just dramatically walked off screen. 200 USD to run in the street. Go home. No, I respect the people that like do it, but like, wow, wee wah.
yeah. Well, I've got Victoria Marathon on my sights for next year, so hopefully your island.
You're not going to be shoulder to shoulder tripping people.
Good. I need a race where I can like move.
65.
It actually goes through
$95.
some nice areas near the water and stuff.
Yeah, I saw the course map. It looks good.
Yeah. And I think you have one more question.
I do. Thank you, Cal. Thank you. And this actually comes from my friend Daniel, who lives in Ottawa.
Ottawa?
Yes.
Wow.
Wait, you have other Canadian friends?
I do actually.
How dare you?
Yes, my big glitch has friends. And this one's pretty simple. So, how were you introduced to the show, and what did you think of it?
I've gone on record about this before, but sure, why not? Back in like in the lead up to the fall TV season of 1994, my mom had a like fall preview issue of TV Guide, which I read because I was that kind of kid. And there was like a little like half-page like write-up with a little picture of Bob in like his race car gear from the second episode. And I'm like, my 9-year-old self was like, "Oh, this sounds really cool." So I checked out the first episode on YTV when it aired. It's like, it's airing on this day. So I'm like, sweet, I'm gonna go watch it. And I did. And I'm like, the show's really cool. Kept watching it.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's all I got.
All right.
I was 8 years old. It was 1994. I caught it on the premiere, where first 2 episodes aired back to back on YTV. My parents were out. I had a babysitter, and I don't know. She was like, "Hey, do you want to watch some TV before you go to bed?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, cool." And so I turned on to the listing, seeing what's on. Back when that was a thing, an actual channel dedicated to the listings.
Channel 2. At
Yep.
least that's what it was in Nanaimo. I don't know about
I think it was like channel
here.
10 for me.
Mm.
But yeah, and I say this like I didn't know anything about it, never heard of it in my life. Just I see Reboot on YTV, and I was like, "That's on YTV. That sounds cool." So I turned to it, and it was starting, and it was the whole like, "I come from the net," and it's kind of going through, and I was just like, "What is this?"
The
And
intro
then
can grab kids really easily.
I was just like, "Holy crap!" Like that was me and the babysitter alike were like, "This show is fantastic. What even is this?" And so
Well,
after,
CGI was such a rarity at the time that it was
Oh, yeah.
very striking
oh yeah,
when you actually saw it.
So when you see good 90s animation, it was mind blowing.
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't Insectors here.
But yeah, that was my first time. It was like I was on the original air date, and I completely by accident, but stars aligned.
Much like how I discovered Beast Wars.
Yeah. I liked the show so much that my grandmother caught wind of it, and she started taping it for me on VHS every
Nice.
week when it came on. So I still have them. Like pretty much seasons.
Do they
1 to
have the
3.
commercials in them?
Sorry?
Do they have the commercials in them?
Yep.
Oh, I remember this story. They don't, because his grandma would pause.
They
During the
did
commercials.
they do up to a certain point in like season 2 where she started pausing for the commercials, and then
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Dude,
So up to a certain point, like 1994 commercials, 1998 commercials.
Dude, I have a functional VCR.
Me too.
You need to bring that shit over here.
Oh, dude, let's do it. Let's do it.
Amazing.
And
just to watch commercials from the mid-90s.
Just to watch commercials. There's like Kraft Dinner commercials, old Batman commercials, like Power Rangers
Nice.
toys,
Yes.
It's awesome. And so a huge blast from the past. So yeah.
Okay.
That was it.
Who else has got an answer for?
I
Who else
do.
has to answer? You do, yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I discovered it on Toonami back in '99. Fell in love with it, and that's really about it.
And there you go.
What about you, Mr.
You were a bit
Neil?
older, yeah. My cousins and siblings and I are all like outside, like riding bikes kids. So I probably didn't catch it till like 95, 96 or something like that. And we were never like, oh, this is on. And we'd go and watch at a certain time. So we'd just piece it together here or there whenever we did happen to watch it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right,
Cal
it's
was not a nerd like the rest of us.
Wasn't a fucking nerd.
Us of lesser gods. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, pieced it together like here or there. The fun part about season 1 is you can just watch an episode.
Mhm.
Right. And then it started breaking apart and I stopped following it because I wouldn't see every episode of like season 2 and 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I tried to get reinvested in season 3 because I loved Matrix. But I mean, sometimes you just want to go and like ride bikes instead.
Yes.
And I'd forget about it and like whatever.
I
So-
was never that kid. Didn't give a shit about riding
I-
bikes. I was like
I'm that
the
kid.
new hype. Give me the new hype show, damn it.
But yeah, there's so many of us that just we would catch, because I got two cousins and two siblings, and we just catch it on air like randomly.
Yeah.
And we all loved it. We all liked all YTV stuff. Uh-oh. Yeah, we were a big fan of Uh-oh.
Keep it weird.
Yeah.
Our final question comes from Twitter user Octane Alpha. This is specifically for me and Cal because this is War for Cybertron Kingdom shit. Thoughts on the Autobot arc appearance and the Galvatron and Nemesis defeat? Contrived plot convenience / plot armor? I think so. It feels like they were running out of time and had to wrap things up quickly. We talk a little bit about this on episode 50 of Too Much Energon, and this is a multi-part question, so I'm just gonna like kind of fire off like quick thoughts. I thought the Autobot arc showing up and presumably like you're talking about it transforming in episode 5. Spoilers, I guess. It's on Netflix. It's free to watch. Go fucking watch that show. It's good. I thought it was really cool, but the show kind of just drops it immediately afterward. Like it has, like they go back to Cybertron in episode 6, and they have this like big like hulking like ship that's like a big like hulking Titan class transformer that they don't bring into the battle for some reason. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, agreed. Really cool when it showed up, but like they're just throwing everything at the screen.
Yeah, it
Kingdom.
doesn't. Yeah,
and it didn't feel like earned, and it didn't feel like it was leading up to that. So I think it's kind of Deus Ex.
It was.
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, it was kind of just a quick way
cool.
to resolve the threat of the Nemesis.
It's cool, but yeah. It was just there to resolve the threat of the Nemesis, which takes the agency out of the characters helping themselves. So seeing giant robot, cool. Plot didn't really lead up to it properly. Whatever. Next.
He says it feels like they were running out of time quickly and had to wrap things up. I think I mentioned on Too Much Energy on episode 50 that I feel like Kingdom should have been at least like 10 episodes.
It feels, wow, does it feel like too much happens in each episode? It feels like it should be 10. So it moves very fast.
I think the first few, like 3 episodes are like actually like paced quite well, but then like the latter 3 are just like packed to the brim with shit happening.
Much like Beast Wars, it feels like they're like, okay, we did this and this. All right. Oh shit. We have to tell these like 2 arcs of the story in like 4 episodes. Go. It feels like they crammed like 8 episodes into the last 4. Yeah.
That's all the questions. Thanks for everyone who asked.
Right. Yeah.
And have a little something for you.
Yes.
He's got a little something, little surprise.
So there's a for everyone who listens to the show and wrote in and asked a question, as a special thank you, we're going to do a little raffle here. And what you're going to win is one of the new Alphanumeric t-shirts. Not this one, but the one with the brand new show art that you saw at the beginning of this episode. So Snidler's already shaking it up.
Snidler's doing the draw of everyone who commented.
Yep.
He's doing it.
Oh, who is it? Okay.
Completely unbiased.
Completely unbiased.
Yep.
Look at this. It's all the same. All the paper is the same. Here we go. You ready?
All right. Who is it?
Dun, 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 dun.
Octane Alpha.
Hey.
Oh,
hey!
Look at that. Octane Alpha. I'm gonna before this even goes live, I'm gonna reach out to you on Twitter and ask for your contact info so I can send you a t-shirt.
Sweet.
So congratulations. Do you want to hear more Lasercomb content each and every week? Is one episode each of Too Much Energon or Alphanumeric simply not enough? Then boy do I have a solution for you. Go to patreon.com/lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB, where starting at a mere $5 per month, you get literal hours of bonus preamble audio each and every week, access to the Lasercomb Discord, monthly shoutouts, and more. At the $10 and up tier, you get our weekly weird news show Lasercomb Tonight, as well as our Too Much Energon spin-off Too Much Galavar, where we talk about the monthly IDW 2021 Beast Wars comic book. Yeah! At the $25 tier, you get all of that, plus our monthly Too Much commentary track, a free t-shirt, and more. Support Lasercomb Tonight, today.
Octane.
So that was the Q&A segment. We're kind of getting a little pressed for time here, so...
I was going to say, should we maybe wrap it up? Because we're already pretty long. Or do we want to... What do you guys think?
Speed review.
Let's go through it quickly. Overall thoughts about season 3. I'll start with this. I think season 3 started off really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And this kind of occurred to me recently as I was combing through old episodes, looking for like little sound bites for the new intro that the show started with. I think in the show's attempt to go like all like grimdark, like Reboot kind of lost a lot of its charm. And I don't think the show like gets like kind of dark and edgy as it goes on, especially like when Enzo and Andrea grow up, but it's not even like dark and edgy in like a mature kind of way. It's actually like, ironically, it's more juvenile than the first couple seasons of Reboot, because it's
trying to be edgy.
It's trying to be edgy, and it's trying to be like quote unquote mature. So it's like we have like now Enzo is like, oh, Enzo's like this big like buff badass, and he's wearing a leather jacket with the sleeves torn off, and he's got a robot eye, might as well be a fucking robot arm, and he's got a gun at his side, and his belt is a chain.
You're just describing Snidler's favorite part of wanting to be Matrix.
And he's got a hot babe in a fucking bikini top at his side. Like it's just,
yeah,
it's very adolescent. Which
it's so edgy you'll cut yourself watching it. Yeah.
Which when I was 12, 13, I thought it was the hypest shit ever. But as a man in my mid 30s, I'm like, this isn't really the show getting more mature. This is the show in a weird way getting less mature.
Okay. Interesting take.
Yeah.
What is the Snidler review of season 3?
Snidler review of season 3 is it's alphanumeric. No, it's I agree with Christopher. It's kind of started strong. It kind of did this, where like you'd have a really good episode here, and then the next one would just be like total filler, where nothing really happens, nothing really drives the plot, and then you have it go lower, rather, and then you have episodes like Hello Cat. There's a cat in here.
Aww.
Hello Cat is my favorite episode.
So the Hello Kitty episode is just amazing. No, the Star Trunk episode, it was just, I don't even know why I'm mentioning it. And then, like, so it's kind of like it starts strong, everything is filler, and then at the last couple, it's just like, hey, this is where, hey, we won, roll credits. So overall, like, obviously I love the season. I just think some of it was just a little unnecessary. It was just, that's my take on season 3.
All right.
Yeah.
Lady Glitch?
I will agree with Christopher and Aiden that it starts out strong. There is a lot of filler. I feel like season 3 could have been done in 12 to 14 episodes instead of 16. It's because it just drags out certain things like Matrix Andrea. Adventures in the Web. It's just like, "Ugh, let's get it
Why are
done.
we spending half of the season in the web? Come on, get out of
Yeah,
there.
what do we do?
Season 3 is the longest season of the series. It doesn't need to be 16 episodes. They could have done this in like 10.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But I'm going to go opposite of what Christopher said. And when you really dig into season 3 and you start studying the characters, you find it, I personally find it to be the more mature season than seeing it become more immature. But it's just the point of view that I've taken when analyzing these episodes.
Yeah.
And then when you start piecing together what you find here in season 3 with how the characters behaved and acted in 1 and 2, then it kind of, a lot of things start to make sense, and then you can just kind of trace it back. And some things come full circle.
Yeah.
So there we go. Here's me.
Thing I also want to point out too is, and I alluded to this earlier, and when I was just giving my overall thoughts, like it kind of slipped my mind, but the show leans far too heavily in referencing shit in this season. Like the whole series like has had like pop culture references peppered through, but like this season has like straight up episodes dedicated to just like basically being episodes of other things. There's the fucking Star Trek episode. There's the Prisoner episode. Like it's too much, man. Like the show kind of loses its identity at that point for me.
By having way too, you can't have like, man, a whole episode where they have like almost like every other line is a Star Trek line, and they even have a Vulcan, and yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Number 7, which is literally just an episode of The Prisoner.
Yeah. And like there's deepness to it and stuff like that, but it's completely derivative, which takes away what they want to accomplish. Yeah. I guess I'm the only one left.
Yes.
What I thought of season 3.
Oh, you.
Season 3 introduces like shooting people in the head, punching Megabyte, chicks with
Mandibles.
abs, dudes with muscles. This was different, but I like it. That's all I have to say. It's different for like if you don't compare it to season 1 or 2 or whatever, and it's you take it as like its own thing, and it is different. And you might think that's bad, or you might think that's good, or I'm just kind of like they like chicks with abs and like dudes with biceps, and here we go.
Here we go.
And shooting people. Why not?
Yeah. And
It is what it
mandibles.
is.
Mandibles.
All right,
That's it.
and the final thing for for episode 40 of Alphanumeric is we're gonna kind of rapid fire count off our top 5 favorite episodes of the season. So, Lady Glitch, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Game Over.
That's my number 4.
That is on my list lower down. So,
Okay.
Yeah. That is not on my list at all.
Christopher, are we doing the thing where we wait to all talk about it when it goes further down?
Nah, let's just talk about it when it comes
Let's
up.
just talk about it now.
Lady Glitch, what do you like about Game Over?
Game Over for me is I had to sit down and think like, how am I going to compare this to another episode, which I'll talk about in a bit. But it's a great transition into what's going to happen to Enzo and Andrea at the end of the episode. We see Dot being, command comm Dot. She's doing that thing that I like and stepping into that leadership position. And we also start to see like what Megabyte can really do. And like he's there. He's ready to kick some ass. Yeah. So it's just a solid episode for me.
Okay.
I
really
everything. It's a turning point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I give a lot of props to that episode, mostly because of one little scene in particular where like Andrea is like trying to comfort Frisket, as Enzo was about to lose the game. It actually made me tear up. So this episode actually like it earns a lot of goodwill from me just for that reason alone.
It also has the hack and slash humor scene with Cyrus in the pits. That it kind of balances.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's number 2 on my list. Game over.
Oh wow!
Like I think that's also I think the fighting game is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. The user's pretty badass looking,
but it's shocking to the viewer because you're like, well, wait, no, and then when he gets like the
literally decapitated.
Yeah, you're like, and you're like a child watching this, and you're like, is he fucking dead? So that's a really important episode for me. That's number 2 on my list.
Okay.
Snidler, your number 5.
Number 5 is Firewall.
Not on my list.
Not on your list? That's
Nope.
cool.
That one's my number.
That's your number 3. I liked I don't know, I just liked it. It was cool. James Bond references, Wacky Races references, all the references. And
run along now, man talk.
Exactly. And exploding toilets. I just thought it was hilarious. There's some memorable scenes in that. I just really liked.
Yeah. The one in that episode that stands out for me is when they're hanging out in the principal office and Enzo's like all defeated and shit because propaganda. And Mouse chimes in with, well, in that case, Megabytes won. He's defeated the defender of the system with words.
Yeah.
And then they start introducing the concept of a firewall, which is obviously a very technical computer aspect in the real world. It's like, hey, we're going to learn something today. So,
yeah.
Was this the episode that introduced the lingerie wearing hexadecimal?
Yes.
Yes.
I should have put that on my list.
That didn't make it onto your list.
It is now NeoCal's number 1.
That's not her being like tortured and dang it. I can't change my list now.
All right, Cal, what is your number 5?
The episode with no name.
Nice.
Great seeing system that's functioning.
That is my number 2.
Number 2.
That's my number 3.
And your number 3, Lady Glitch?
Yeah.
No,
it's not even on my list.
Very quick. It's a new system. It functions. Guardian. I think the next episode after that, we find out Guardians are bad, and it's just, it's cool.
Yeah.
Very Aladdin-ish.
I love westerns, so I like a lot of the the western
themes,
tropes and motifs in that episode. I dig it.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Icons.
That was my number 4.
That is very high. It's very close to mine. Icons is actually my favorite. It's my number 1.
Oh,
nice.
Wow.
That one also made it to my number 4.
Nice.
It's on all of our list.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's despite what I said about like the show after Enzo and Andrea grow up. I think that episode is a great introduction to them. It reintroduces them as characters, and it kind of sets them off on this like kind of like Incredible Hulk Quantum Leap like quest of like going into a new situation with a new supporting cast, helping them fix their problems and better themselves, and then moving on.
Yeah.
Ziggy says we can't jump until we help the binomes be confident in the games.
The supporting cast in that episode is also like really strong, like a lot stronger than they had any right to be.
And we never.
Like, I would have liked to have seen more of them, and actually, like, hell, give them their own show. Like,
yeah, man. And he gives his yo-yo to the kid. Like, it's it's
and when the sky goes.
His name says it all.
Yeah. And when the sky goes blue at the end of that episode, it's like that symbolism of hope, that there's going to be hope for this system. It's like, it makes me tear up as an adult.
Yeah.
Their praying mantis Dinobot virus is gone. They don't have a guardian, but they feel they can enter the games. They'll be all right. They'll be
They'll
all
be
right.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lady Glitch, your number 4?
My 4 was icons.
Okay, so your 4 was icons.
Yes.
Snidler, what's your number 4?
Mine was also icons.
All right. Cal,
Yeah.
what was your number 4?
Mine was Showdown.
Showdown, that's my number
Ooh,
3.
That one's on my list.
Oh,
That one
one's
is not
that
on my
one's
list, so-
that one is number 1 on my list.
That
I've been waiting 3 seasons to see Enzo punch Megabyte
Yeah.
in the fucking face. That's all I have to say.
Yep.
that Megabyte and Enzo fight was great.
Oh, yeah.
Surprisingly brutal. I also love the Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock reference at the
good.
beginning.
Star Trek
Oh, yeah.
reference.
It's really
yeah.
like that was a good
was-
way to reference Star Trek.
Yeah.
And it's literally like one of the best moments in all of Star Trek history. One of the best and most emotional moments is the destruction of the Enterprise, the original Enterprise, and it's sailing across the sky, and Kirk being like, "My God, Bones, what have I done?" And Bones tells him, he's like, "What you had to do, what you always do."
Mhm.
Yeah. And and Megabyte gets his.
Yep.
You know, he could have just been arrested or like beaten up and he was shown
Yep.
mercy. Instead, he's like, get fucked. And so when he tricked Mouse at the end of season 2, and now Mouse tricks him and sends him off to the web,
Yep.
that karma, like the feeling of like karma it took years, but Megabyte getting his is pretty fucking satisfying.
And they send him off to the web, like they trap him in the web. Like that's
It's
fitting.
It's the
I
ending
dig
to
it.
Megabyte everybody wanted so badly.
Yeah, without
Get beaten
turning
half to death. and
without
then
turning
sent off.
Matrix into what he hates, without
Yeah.
him having to murder. I mean, he shot people in the head. So like what's killing one more virus?
You know,
Yeah. If anybody, you know what? I don't think it would have been against his character to just fucking stab and kill him.
it's true.
I wouldn't view him as a lesser Sprite. If he just murdered
After
Megabyte.
everything that happened,
He
I'd be okay
deserves
with
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lady
Anyways,
Glitch, your number 3.
Firewall.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Snidler, your number 3.
Episode with no name.
All right. All
Moving
episodes
on,
we've
moving on.
talked about before. Cal, your number 3.
Mega Frame.
And my
Nice.
number... Oh, Mega Frame. Take it away. It's not on my list.
Anyone
mine
else's list?
Nope.
Everyone's reintroduced to each other.
That is true.
That's it.
That is true.
They go back. Everyone's
Yep.
introduced, and Matrix Dot realizing that Bob and Enzo are alive, and they're acting and CG, but they animate these emotional scenes like so
Oh.
well. So that's it.
That is true. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Lady Glitch, your number 2.
Number 7.
Not on my list.
that.
Oh, all right. Well, on a personal note, that was the first episode I got to do with you guys, so yay. But for me, it's diving into Matrix's psychology. And listeners, if you need to go back and rewatch that episode where I dive into it, we dive into it, please do so, because there's a lot to unpack. So what I love about it is that we find that it's not just Matrix that has all of this unraveling to do, but it's also Andrea too, when she takes on the form of hexadecimal. So
Wasn't it inside his head?
oh, it's just his his stuff and things.
That's
Yeah, because
his
he
projection.
got knocked out because he got hit in the head with a
Yeah.
golf
That's
ball.
his projection of Andrea if she were hexadecimal.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. That this layers.
A lot of layers. So that's what attracted me to this episode, because it makes you think. You can't just sit down. Well, theoretically, you could sit down and just watch it, but it's more fun to like pick at everything. And
There's
try to
more to it than just physical action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rediscovering mainframe, quote unquote. So
Snidler, your number 2.
My number 2 To mend and defend.
It's my number one.
That's
Nice.
my number one.
Ooh.
Wait.
That's your
I,
number one. Wow.
Awesome.
I'm just gonna leave the floor to you guys. My number one was icons,
Okay.
Okay.
which we've already
Alright.
discussed. So
Yeah.
take it away.
Is To Mend and Defend on your list, Cal?
It's not.
Oh, all right.
Cool.
I got a lot of hype for this episode.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Actually, Snidler, you take it away.
Sure. Yeah, it's probably about almost the same stuff. We see it's a whole different beginning. We see Enzo as a guardian. We see an awesome game. That's this really memorable one for season 3. Evil Dead game, Malicious Corpses. We see the book. We see the
Evil
tree.
Doom.
We see Evil Doom. Exactly. Yeah, we see a really sexy dot matrix and fishnets and you know.
You know what?
boobs.
I forgot that was the episode. I thought
Yeah.
that was season 2 for some reason.
Uh,
You know what? Take out my number 5, which is episode with no name, and slide this one into my number 1 too.
Okay.
All right.
This is my number
Alright.
1 as well.
else?
Yeah. So that so To Mend and Defend, like it's a great episode, and like it was the first new episode of Reboot in like a couple of years at that point, which was really exciting for me when I was 12.
It
Mhm.
looks
The
so good.
jump in significant jump in animation quality is
yeah,
like just
yeah.
shocking. The game is like really fucking hype, and it's also the first time we actually get to see Enzo like really coming into his own and actually leading the charge and being the guy saving the day.
Yeah, I'm going to bounce off of that for a second. Enzo becomes more analytical while being in games. Even though Dot is kind of guiding him along a little bit, it is mainly Enzo, as you mentioned, saving the day.
Mm-hmm.
So he starts
Yeah.
to develop that like guardian point of view when it comes to leading and guiding in games and trying to get everyone else around him to do what they need to do to be successful.
Yeah, he's learning on the job, and you know what? He's actually like he's figuring it out.
Exactly.
He's not failing at it.
Mhm.
Even when people aren't listening to him, he just goes, "Oh, okay," and he goes with the flow
Mhm.
instead of getting like angry and dwelling on it like too long. He does need emotional support when he's this young guardian, but he's getting there.
Right.
And for the first time ever, Frisket doesn't save the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, yeah.
He'll be back chasing Knowles in less than a cycle.
Cal, what was your number 2?
Oh, my number 2, right. My number 2 was Game Over.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, which we already talked about.
Oh,
Lady
sorry,
Glitch.
because I changed things. Icons. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Lady Glitch, your
We
number
talked
1?
about those.
My number 1 was To Mend and Defend.
To Mend and Defend. Sweet.
Mhm.
Snidler, your number 1? Showdown, which we already talked about.
Was my number 1. Hell yeah.
All right, so that's our top 5.
We did it.
It's like for the most part,
Wait.
other than a couple of outliers, it's this like mishmash of the same episodes. So
Yeah.
I think that speaks volumes to the.
And we did not consult each other before we made our lists. So
No.
Tis
Some of
true.
us made our lists several days before recording. Some of us made our lists 5 minutes
Literally.
before recording.
Literally
Like me.
seconds before. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
What you gonna do when they come for you?
Bad boys. Bad Bob.
Bad Bob.
So that's episode 40 of Alphanumeric.
Woo!
We did it.
We
Yeah,
did
we
it.
did.
We finished season 3. We did 40 episodes of Alphanumeric, and that is a feat unto itself.
It is.
And that being said, it's announcement time.
Yes.
We much in the same way there was a gap in time between seasons 3 and 4 of Reboot, as so there will be for this podcast.
Yeah.
It's not going to be nearly 4 years, but we're taking some time off. Not from podcasting in general, just taking some time off from the show.
Yeah.
I got to be perfectly honest. Like my gripes that I mentioned with season 3, like in a way of kind of like sucked the life out of this show for me a little bit. So I on a personal level need to kind of step away from this for a little bit. Still going to be podcasting. Me and Cal are still going to be week in and week out doing Too Much Energon. We're going to focus. We're going to use our hiatus on this show to spend more time focusing on Patreon content.
Yeah.
We're currently scheduling our second Too Much Commentary monthly movie commentary track, and it looks like it's going to be The Room.
Yes.
So subscribe to us on Patreon to listen to that.
Some of us may have never have watched it before.
We'll let you figure out which ones.
Hey, Cat. Hey, Cat.
We're also again, big shout out to our $25 patron, Kay, also known as Game Sprite Mode. She pitched us to talk about the show Dark Oracle last month, which is one of the perks at the $25 tier, is you can pitch a show to us.
Yes.
And we're gonna do that. We're gonna in the coming weeks, sometime in the month of August. Not sure when yet, but sometime in the month of August, we're gonna cover the first episode of that show as a big thank you to her for all of her support.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Looks weird.
Yeah. I had never heard of the show, so
Neither have I.
And so we're gonna get to that in the near future. Still going to be doing the War Planets podcast on a like roughly monthly-ish basis. In fact, if we're not doing this show for the next little while, we might even finish that show up sooner than expected.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. Speaking of our patrons, let's do a monthly shout out to our Patreon subscribers. Let me bring up the Patreon app on my phone here.
There's so many, they're going to scroll across the screen right now on YouTube, folks. Here they go.
I don't even know how I find. You know what? I'm just going to do it on the site because the Patreon app is very very simplified compared to the actual page.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Monthly shout outs. Shout out to our patrons B, Louis Real Jr., K, as we mentioned, and Sir Z Corrector. Based on the spelling, I have a suspicion that might be Cone Killer Confusor, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But if it is, let us know. If you are Cone Killer Confusor, let us know. And if you want to support us on Patreon, patreon.com/lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB, you get the aforementioned monthly Too Much Commentary track at the $25 tier. At that tier, you also get a t-shirt, the ability to pitch podcasting content to us. We have lower tiers and a bunch of other stuff. We have lower tiers as well. Starting at $5, you get weekly preamble audio for all the shows we do. It's literally hours of content every week of us just like talking about random shit. A lot of the times it's also like planning like upcoming shows. So if you want like a little bit of a spoiler of like what's to come, like that's a good way of finding out. Also gets you Discord access to the Lasercomb Discord, which is a great way to connect with us on directly. At the $10 and up tier, you get our weekly Lasercomb Tonight weird news show. Lasercomb Tonight, our weekly weird news show where we talk about like dumb news stories. We do one every week. There's a new one that's going up sometime, or probably around the same time this is going up. And you also get mine and Cal's Too Much Energon spinoff, Too Much Galavar, where we talk about the monthly IDW 2021 Beast Wars comic book. So Those are the tiers. There's also a $2 tier, which gets you to, basic pay. The very bare minimum. It gives you Discord access to connect with us, and it gets you our thanks, which is the greatest gift of all, in my opinion.
Seconds to money.
Speaking of reaching out to us, you can do that on Twitter. There is the brand new alphanumeric Twitter feed at alphanumeric pod, or you can follow me at Lasercomb, LEZORCOMB. You all have Twitter as well, yes?
We've got the Twitters. You can follow me at Neo_Cal, KAL.
And you can follow me at Lady Glitch 619.
You could follow me at AP Snidler on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram.
Facebook.com/Lasercomb. Spelled the same way that I've already spelled it, I think, twice now. So
You just need a sign with it on, so you don't have to keep spelling it.
What I need is a T-shirt that just says Patreon.com/Lasercomb.
There you go.
You should do that.
In big, like,
you are the
giant
T-shirt man,
letters.
good sir. You should.
I
do
am
that.
the T-shirt man.
Oh, he's the T-shirt
Yes.
man.
I'm
Yeah.
the T-shirt man.
Follow him at T-shirt Daddy.
It's what an
Snidler,
OnlyFans is all about.
yeah, Snidler, this is the last alphanumeric for a little while. So if you have anything you want to plug, now's the time.
I am facing some setbacks, minor setbacks, but I do plan to get the Oldsmobile sessions back on the road. That's where every week I have a musician in the back of my car playing a set while I drive him around town. And yeah, if you want to check out some of that, you can set Oldsmobile session on YouTube. I'll also be sure to post some links on my Twitter. So yeah, keep your eyes open for that. And yes, the rumors are true. I have started an OnlyFans account, but I don't have anything up there yet because I don't know what you people want to see. So let me know.
Reach out to him at AP
Let me
Snidler
know
on Twitter.
What would you want to see the Snidler do? What would you do for a Klondike bar?
He will do anything if the money is right.
And now I'm going to make a bunch of alt accounts and send you like really obscene requests.
Oh my god! Here we go.
Does anybody else have anything they want to plug?
If you like videos of baby deer and nature, you can follow me on TikTok at LadyGlitch619. I just posted a couple of videos with pretty melodic backgrounds of little baby deer. So they're cute. Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah.
So cute.
TikTok, what it auto repeats like videos. So like videos where it's just like raining and there's like a still image and it's like windy are I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of nature.
That's why I love sending you what I record.
Mm-hmm.
Is the snoozy time sessions for Cal.
That's right.
Well, I say this at the end of almost every show, but today it's actually true. We are running out of time. So we're going to get out of here. Usually that's just a line that I say as like a thing like, okay, let's wrap things up. But we are actually on a time limit here. So we're going to get going. I have been one of your hosts, Christopher Siege.
And I'm NeoCal. Oh,
he's been NeoCal. I've been AP Snidler.
And I'm Lady Glitch.
And
until next time.
Until we come back, thank you.
Yes.
Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing on Patreon. Thank you for buying T-shirts. Thank you for tweeting at us. Thank you for asking questions. Thank you for retweeting shit about the shows we do. This is legitimately like one of my dreams kind of coming true. So, and it wouldn't be possible without all of my co-hosts and everyone listening. So again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's fan art of the jokes we've made on the show.
Yes.
True.
Right. Yes. Also fan art. You know what? I'm gonna pull it. I have it on my wall above my computer, and I'm gonna pull it off of the wall and show it again.
Is it
Cone Killer Confusor? Air Doctor.
Air Doctor.
Doctor.
Thanks, man. thanks for doing that. So, yeah. Again, until we come back, it's been fun, and thank you.
Well, that's our story from Gladiator Arena, Los Angeles, California. For Larry Zonka, I'm Mike Adamley. See you again next week for more exciting semifinal action.